We're going to go through the personal protective equipment pretty quickly. PPE, personal protective equipment. Definition: this is any specialized clothing or equipment that is worn by an employee for protection against infectious materials. And so the most common protective equipment barriers that we'll be using are gloves. That's probably the most common one. Occasionally we'll be using gowns if there's any type of chemicals that might spill on our clothes and stain them. Masks and respirators, you'd obviously use these as a healthcare provider to protect your mouth and nose. You'll see doctors' offices as well as dentists wear these a lot. We won't be wearing those in here. Goggles, of course, whenever we do any type of labs to protect our eyes. Face shields are another common one. I guess that's more for the dentist's office. That protects pretty much your whole face. As far as what equipment you should pick, that kind of is depending on what you're doing. Obviously what type of exposure we're expecting to get. If we're just doing chemicals and we really don't expect them to touch anything more than our hands, then gloves are fine. Goggles as well. Also the durability of the and appropriateness of the task and the fit. You want to make sure that your gloves fit as well as your apron, goggles, things like that. As far as goggles and gloves, those are the two most common ones we will be using. Gloves we'll be using whenever we're going to be touching any type of chemicals. You would obviously use them in the healthcare field whenever you are going to be touching any type of bodily fluid. Gowns, whenever you're going to possibly have your clothes come in contact with any type of bodily fluid. Again, we won't be using gowns very often in class, but occasionally we do have a few chemicals that might stain our clothes that you might want to wear a gown or an apron for. Mask and goggles, definitely the most common would be the goggles, and we would use this just to make sure that the chemicals or any type of liquid chemical especially doesn't get into our eyes. It is important to learn how to take the gloves off, probably more importantly. If you were going to be wearing any type of a suit or anything like that, you'd put your gloves on last. Make sure that you're getting the correct size and type. If you have any type of latex allergy, we do have nitrile gloves, so that's a common allergy people need to be careful of. As far as how to use the gloves, you just want to make sure that you keep your gloved hands away from your face so that anything that's on the gloves isn't obviously getting close to your eyes where you have the mucous membrane to get into your body and into your blood system. Avoid touching or adjusting other protective equipment. So if you are wearing an apron, you want to avoid using your gloved hands because it's obviously going to be getting on your clothes. If your gloves at any point in time become torn, you want to remove them. Take them off properly, and then of course you want to make sure that you wash your hands before you put new gloves on. And limit how many surfaces you touch, because every single time you touch something with your gloved hands, you're passing whatever chemical was on there or bacteria, whatever it might be, onto that surface. You just want to be careful what you're touching. Now, as far as how to remove gloves, this is probably easier to see with a demonstration, so I'll definitely be showing this in class. But you want to grab, with both of your hands gloved, you just pick one of your hands and grab the outside edge of your glove and peel it away from you. So you're kind of turning the glove inside out as you peel it off. And you want to put that gloved inside the other hand. So you're the glove that's inside out you have in the palm of your other hand and kind of grab around it. And then from there you're going to use your fingers. You want to be really careful not to kind of touch the outside of the glove. Notice here that they're touching the inside of the glove so that you don't get anything on your ungloved hand. And you want to put that on your wrist and kind of peel it again away from you. Peel it inside out. And so when you're done, you're going to have this glove which is inside out and the other glove is inside of there because you had it inside your hand, and then you can just throw that in the trash. As far as hand hygiene, as soon as you're done with gloves, you should definitely make sure you use either soap and water to wash your hands, or you can use an alcohol-based hand rub to wash your hands.